Alright, today I'm going to demonstrate how to paint these cottage roses here. Here's my colors on my palette. The paper that I'm going to be using, or the canvas rather, is called Canva Artboard. These are 8 by 10. They're very sturdy and they have a texture of just like canvas here. So you can see they're kind of thick and I can't really bend it. You'll also need a template here, and below in the description you can click on the link and download that for your painting. So what I've done is I've taken the template, and on the back of it I have colored with just a regular number 2 pencil here, and taped it onto a clear Canva board here, and place it in the center. And then with the number 2 pencil, just trace it. And by tracing it, it transfers onto the white paper. All right, now I'm gonna get the surface ready here. So I'm gonna put a coat of magenta. You can see the magenta peeking through here on the sides and in the background between the flower details. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and grab my 3/4 inch flat, wet it, dry it off over here, and then grab a little bit and put some water on it because I want this kind of thin. Now what will help is if I spray this too. So I'm going to grab my water bottle here, and I'm going to lightly mist the Canva board here, and then do a wash of magenta. All right, now we'll just go ahead and let that dry, and then we'll start putting our next layer. All right, the brush I'm going to be using next is my 1/2 inch flat here, and I'm going to go ahead and start on the roses, and I want to make like a dusty kind of pink here. So I'm going to take my alizarin crimson and my quinacridone magenta, and let's add some of this gray, neutral gray number 8. Lighten that up, and a little bit of white, and get that dusty pink color. Okay, let's add a little bit more magenta. I want it dusty pink. It's kind of dark right now. All right, that's a pretty color. All right, now I'm going to start on the petals that are kind of in the background here. You might not see them at first, but once you start putting in your background, they will pop. And I'm trying to let some of that pink underneath show through, so I'm not painting every single petal. So you can see I've left some space in there. All right, let's grab a little bit of the darker side here, just slightly darker. I'll add some near the base here and down up in here. And some on top of that petal, and just a little bit here on the bottom of that one. I'm just patting it in there on the back. All right, I'll take that dusty pink again, a little darker version here. Do the same thing here. We're gonna pick some here in the background, just on the tips, on the ones in the back. And wipe my brush off, and I'm gonna go ahead and get the lighter one and put some of that on there too. Let's put some on this one, going here. this one on the base, on this one, and under here, and on the base of that large petal, on the top of that one, and then a little bit on top of that one. All right, rinse my brush off. Now I'm going to make a lighter pink. And this time I'll add some of the neon in there just to brighten it up some. And I'm adding a lot of white. And I'm just taking that same mixture and putting it together. Maybe a little bit magenta, neon pink. There we go. Nice and bright. All right, I'm going to again add some back in here. And just touch here just to show that there's petals back behind there. Maybe right there. One right there. Here on this one. Here on this one. Definitely on that one. On this one. And these will darken up. And again, this color will change once we start adding in the background. Okay, so put that one in there. On top of that petal. On this one. On top of that one. And again, I got my 1/2 inch flat. And I'm using it showing where the highlights are. And then on this one, coming up, I think there's another one right there. Another one right here. And then I think there's one there and here. No, there's not one there. Let's fix that. All right, let's let that sit there for a while because it will darken. And I washed my brush really well, and now I'm going to add in the leaf color. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to mix some of the Indian yellow over here into the green gold. Not green gold, sap green. And I want it kind of wet because I want it thin, so some of that pink will show through underneath. So I'm just going to go ahead and paint in some of the leaves. It's like a base color. And I think I'll switch. This brush is kind of big for my shaky hand. So now I'm going to go ahead and get the 1/4 inch. Make some more. Make sure it's watery. Okay, here we go. And this is just the first underlayer here. And I'm going to flip it so I don't rest my hand in the paint here. And just go along the stem. All right, flip it back. And now this one. Now I'm left-handed, so I make sure I paint on the right side here and then go towards my left. So if you're right-handed, I would probably start on this side and work your way backwards. That way your hand doesn't rest in the colors. All right, you can see how the pinks have really darkened up here. So now I'm going to go in and add a little bit more shading. So I'm going to use my 1/4 inch flat here and grab some of the alizarin crimson and magenta here, and make it, just add a little bit of that gray in there with it. All right, I'm going to come in here and show where there's a little bit more shadow underneath, and then flick up here. All right, leave that there. Do the same thing over here. Then under here. Here and here. All right, let's grab some of that dusty rose color. Add a little bit more of the neutral gray in there to lighten it up. And some white. I'll add a little bit of magenta to brighten it up. Okay. Let's blend that out. All right, I've cleaned my 1/2 inch, and now I'm going to come in here and add some more highlights. So I'll get that same pink, maybe a little bit of white added into it. And then just take the edge and put in some thinner lines. Just on the tips. Same here on the tips. And I'm flicking it up towards the center. All right, we'll let that dry, and then we'll come in there and add some more highlights. All right, now I'm going to make a darker green. So I'm going to pull some of my sap green over here and add a little bit of alizarin crimson in it just to darken it up just a little bit. Okay, and going to add in a little bit of detail here and shadow. Like that there on that one, and then some on this side. And I'm going to leave the center alone for right now because I'm going to put some brighter green there. Again, this is the shadow underneath. This one, just a few. this shadow here. Oh, I forgot there's one right here. Let's off my brush. Let's grab some of that lighter color. Darker, so contrast with that stem. There we go. Okay, now let's make a brighter green. So I'm going to take some of that sap green and put it over here near the teal. And some green gold in there. A nice green. A little bit more green gold. And I want to keep it kind of watery because I want that pink underneath to show through. All right. And just add some in there. Just to make it a little bit brighter. Let's add a little bit on the stem here and there. Not all of it, just some of it. Some highlights, so let's add some white in there. All right, let's see, a little bit too bright. Dull that down a little bit with some sap green. And then again, let's add some here into the stem. Well, not all of it, just here and there. And go back and get some sap green all by itself. And just highlight some more of the veins. Now, before we start adding highlights to these, to see how light we need to get them, let's go ahead and do a background here. And to do my background, I want a grayish green color. So I'm going to add my sap green over here. And I'm going to just take this gray. We'll just see what kind of color I make. And I need a bunch of it. So I'm gonna add all the gray, sap green, maybe a little bit of teal, and get like a grayish green color. All right, that's a nice green. All right, let's start laying it in there. And as I put it in there, I want some of that pink showing through. Oops. Okay, I'm gonna add a little bit of water to that. Thin it out some. Now you can see how that dusty pink really does show up now that you don't see that pink background there. And try to leave some of the pink showing on the edge, kind of rough like. Gives it more of a vintage feel. All right, I'm gonna turn it over so I can get that edge there. Okay, I'm gonna switch to the smaller brush, my 1/4 inch. Get into here. Let that dry a little bit more before I lay my hand down and start doing some more highlights here and a little touch-ups, and then we'll be done. All right, I have my 1/2 inch flat here, and now I'm going to add some highlights on my cottage roses here. So I want most white, but just a tiny bit of that pink right there showing. Load my brush up, and then I'm going to just start on the tips here using the corner of my brush here just to show some little highlights here. Like that. And then highlights on the side ones and going towards the middle. I lift up as I go towards the middle. And the same here, start here at the bottom, lift up as I come towards the middle. All right, same thing here. There's a little bit here in the back. And highlight just the tips of the petals on the tops. Okay, I don't like what happened there. Let's fix that. There we go. All right, that's good. Okay, I'm going to get out my 1/4 inch flat here, and now I'm going to add some brighter greens, pops here and there, and I don't want it so bright. There we go. Okay, so let's add a little bit of veins showing here, maybe some more on this side. maybe a couple right here on this side. And along here. Some on this one. And let's add some. I'm gonna put my pinky. Make it lighter right there so it comes out in front of that leaf back there. Please share with me if you create your own vintage rose painting. I would love to see it. Thanks for watching. See you next time.